Have you heard of Pilates? Probably, most likely, and you may even do it. Have you heard of Reformer Pilates? Now, you may have heard of it or heard the word, but you may not be sure exactly what it is. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you the sort of history, a little bit of the Reformer, how it came to be, what it is, and explain to you how it can benefit you. Joseph Pilates was born in Germany as a sickly child, and you may or may not know he devoted his life to developing an exercise system that would help him. Initially, that was his motivation, to develop and strengthen and make his body strong and healthy. This has evolved as he worked on it, and obviously it's now what we know as Pilates. But before that, when he left Germany and came to Britain for a while. And in 1912, when the First World War broke out, he was interned by the British Army as a German enemy. And in his work in this British camp, he worked with wounded soldiers and continued to develop his exercise system. One of the main things he did was to start to attach pulleys and springs and whatever he could get really to hospital beds, so that patients could start to improve their strength, start to build strength, rehab themselves, if you like, before even being able to get out of bed and do anything. And this is where the Reformer began, his idea for a Reformer. He later moved to America after the war and continued obviously to develop his exercise system. The Reformer, you will see, if you Google Reformer, you'll see lots of different pictures of them, but essentially they all work the same. You may see some on wooden bases, you may see some like I'm sat on here now. So let me show you the Reformer. So they all essentially work the same, and there are various different parts to it. Basically, you've got a frame and you have a sliding carriage on the frame. You have a foot bar, and this foot bar you can place your feet on and use it to strengthen and tone. You can swap this on this particular Reformer that I'm showing you here. You can remove the foot bar and replace it with a rebounder, and it slots in there, and there are screws to hold it into place. And the rebounder is used for cardio work and obviously rebounding without placing additional resistance on joints, and I'll explain a bit more about how that can be used in a minute. So you've got two options there if your Reformer has the rebounder option. If I leave that out for a minute, you have here a foot plate, and this is for any standing work. So it's ribbed here, there's grip, so you can place one foot on here, one foot on here, and the carriage will slide, and you can do any standing works to improve your balance. We then, moving up the Reformer, we have some attachment points here for the cords. Now these are the different resistance, and depending on the type of Reformer you use, there may be more or less cords or springs, and they all have a different resistance. So you have a spring, you can see this one here, and it slots into the end and creates more resistance. The more cords I put on, so they're all different resistance, the more cords I put on, the more resistance there is. And the cords act a bit like your abdominal muscles. So the more cords you have on, the easier it is on your core, and the harder you're working your major muscle groups, and the less resistance you have on, the harder your core then has to work. Your core has to take over in order to stabilize you. So less resistance, works more core stability, and more resistance is going to focus more on those major muscle groups. You've got obviously a padded platform here, which is used for laying on, kneeling on, standing on, and so on. So it's nice and comfortable. Moving up, we have a headrest, and this can be flat, as you can see here, and just move that out of the way. So it can be flat, or there's a little support here where you can have it slightly raised or up high, depending on your own personal preference and comfort, and depending on the exercise you're doing. We have here these shoulder pads, and these are great. They're perfect alignment for your shoulders. They give your shoulders a bit of support, and they also, depending on the exercise you do, can also help with the alignment of your feet and can be a bit of a foot stop as well for your feet. They are also quite useful to store away the pulleys. So we've got these pulleys here. We've got a nice soft, my one's got nice soft furry handles, so a bit of comfort added in there. And you can see here we've got the pulleys, and how it works is as you pull on the pulleys that the carriage slides. Okay, and we may do exercises where we're holding on to the pulleys, where the feet are in the pulleys, where our knees are in the pulleys, all sorts of things to create that resistance and work different muscle groups. These are attached via a pulley system onto the back here and onto these risers, and they're just hook in, and you can adapt these to different heights. So the higher it is on the riser, the angle changes and it's slightly easier than if it is lower down. So again, there's lots of variations you can use to adapt and get it to work for you. If I can find the hole, there we are. Okay, so and then that lowers the angle, okay, makes that slightly harder. So you've got the risers there, and that is essentially it. They're all the pieces. All reformers will work the same. Now, the benefit of it is huge. Anyone can use it. Anyone, it's for everyone, because you can adapt it so easily. It's so versatile. Basically, it's the only piece of gym equipment that you need. And if you can put a sock on, then you can put these on. And it's quite easy, you know, so if you see exercises where these are around your feet, and you think, well, I'd never be able to get them around my feet, it's not as difficult as it looks. So it might look complicated, but it isn't. So as long as if you are able to put a sock on, you can get these on, you can use the reformer. It's really great because it highlights any imbalances in your body. It strengthens where you're weak, it lengthens where you're tight, and you get an awareness of your body that you really don't get in any other type of fitness. It's really good if you have had a recent injury and you want to rehab that injury, because what you can do is you can use the reformer with less resistance than your body weight. So if, for example, you have injured your knee and you really don't want to be taking weight on that knee, you can still build up and strengthen and mobilise that joint without so much resistance, you know, less than your body weight, because you can do it laying down on a reformer. And you can do it because you're working across gravity with slight resistance, and you can build that resistance up until you're ready to take that weight on it. So it's great for rehabbing. It's also great for sport-specific conditioning as well. And again, if you want to practice certain skills, certain things, but you don't want that constant impact, so a lot of dancers use the reformer, runners can use the reformer, because with the rebounder in, you get a nice, you get a good cardio workout. And so if your knees and your ankles have just had enough from pounding the hard ground outside in the cold weather when it's dark and so on, then this is a really good alternative. And you can get the heart rate up, the circulation going, and burn some calories with the rebounder. But you can practice different techniques as well, and so on, without that excessive overuse of injuries and the impact on different joints. So So it's a great overall workout, gives you a full body workout. It strengthens every muscle in the body. It'll improve your posture, it will rebalance you, it will improve your fitness and your mobility. So I really do recommend it. I do offer one-to-one sessions on the Reformer, so if you want to look me up and you'd like to book a one-to-one session, then please get in touch. The details are below the video, and I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any questions, please just post them below and I will get back to you and answer them for you. But I hope that's helped give you a bit of a better idea now as to what Reformer Pilates is, what it looks like, what it means, and how it can help you. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.